Generating traffic and sales can be a challenge for online merchants. But selling on the Walmart Marketplace puts your products in front of millions of customers who shop on Walmart.com. And right now, sellers who join Walmart Marketplace can save up to 50% on referral and fulfillment fees for the first 90 days. So get started today. Head over to marketplace.walmart.com/savings. That's marketplace.walmart.com/savings.
Today's podcast is sponsored by Nextopia, site search that increases sales. Visit nextopia.com/podcast to learn more. Welcome to E-Commerce Conversations, a weekly podcast focusing on e-commerce topics featuring interviews with prominent people in the e-commerce space.
Welcome to E-Commerce Conversations by Practical E-Commerce. I'm Kerry Murdoch. Social media. There's much talk about social media sites, and there's also talk of how companies can use social media for marketing purposes. One company doing just that is Comodo, a firm that provides online security solutions. Comodo has recently created a social media officer job position, and Comodo's CEO, Millie Abduhaiglu, is here to discuss it with us. Well, Millie, thank you for your time today.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
Tell us, why did Comodo create a social media officer position?
That's a very good question. Well, in my younger days, I used to rack my brain as to, we rode on a horseback for tens of thousands of years. And then, under 100 years, we went from a horseback to a jet plane. What caused that revolution? What caused that trigger? What was the trigger to get us from a horseback to a jet plane? Then I thought I came up with the answer. And the answer was the Gutenberg press, the invention of printing that allowed us to retain and share information. So then I said to myself, what is internet if not that printing machine on steroids? Now we have this thing called internet that allows us to retain and share information. How do we utilize that today as human race? And that's where social media comes into place. We are using this new innovation for socially interacting with each other, connecting us together. It's the connectedness that is changing the way that we behave, we act, we transact on internet. So that becomes as important as the printing machine itself. And this is why we have a position for a social media, because social media is like the printing machine. It allows us to communicate and share information with people.
So what type of information does this person share? Or to state that another way, what would it be his duties in terms of representing your company out across the internet?
Pretty much anything and everything. And in this day and age of internet, you have to be open, you have to be frank. So these people are the voices for the company, for us to be heard in many places, and act as the medium between the social capital. I call them the social capital, the end users on social media, social capital, between the social capital and the company itself. They are the translators. They are the link between us and everyone out there.
Are there certain sites? I mean, are there sites that he focuses on more than others? Does he focus on Twitter or Facebook or other sites that he spends more time on than others?
Some, yes. Depends on the discussions. It's very much buzz-oriented, depending on the buzz, depending on where the buzz is. These people, go and try to get Comodo's views across and, get views from other people and pass it back to Comodo. So depending on where the buzz is happening, where the discussions are taking place.
How do you know if it's successful? How do you measure the success?
That's a very good question. There isn't an exact tool for you to be able to do that. There are many tools out there that you can try to build a metrics from, but you can see the ultimate goal is about creating brand awareness for the company itself. And there are tools like Google Trends that you can take a look at to see if your brand awareness is increasing or not. And there are other tools as well that shows you whether you're being talked about or not, different blogs. So there isn't a single tool that I can point my finger to, but there are many tools out there that gives us good enough indication that, whether social media initiative is working or not.
You mentioned Google Trends. Could you tell our listeners what that is?
Sure. Google Trends, it's at google.com/trends. And what it does, it gives you analysis about how many searches are taking place about a specific keyword. So if you were to type, let's say, Comodo and some other, company name, and you could then have a measurement, relative measurement between two different keywords, brands, and it goes very hand in hand with the buzz that's happening out there. When Britney Spears is having, issues, you can type Britney Spears, then you can see it's increasing. So people's search habits are directly related to your brand to a level. That's a very good indicator.
Our listeners, of course, are e-commerce merchants, mainly smaller e-commerce merchants. What would you suggest to someone listening to this? What would you suggest they do, Millie, in terms of trying to replicate what you're doing with your social media officer position?
Well, there are tools that are available. Short of you having your social media officer, there are other ways of being transparent. The issue is about transparency. When I come to your website, it's great that you have a pretty website, but do I know who you are? I want to get to know you. Show me who you really are so that I will then talk about you. So you don't have to employ a social media officer. You can get opinion leaders. You can get people to talk about you. The only way you can do that is by making sure that you give them visibility about who you are. There are tools available for you to be able to do that.
What are those tools?
One of the tools, sure. A free tool that we make available called User Trust. It's a feedback tool whereby users are allowed to put feedback on your website. It's a free tool. You take this logo, you put that seal, you put it on your website, and then you'll have a rating. And what people will do, they'll give their feedback about their interaction with you. And if you're a good merchant, and majority is very good people out there, they should be flaunting how good they are via letting users to talk about them on their website. And this tool is like a feedback, like a testimonial generator, literally. It lets people talk about you, hence create transparency, and that's how this social aspect of internet can be utilized by small e-merchants.
And that tool on your site, Comodo.com, is User Trust? Was that the name of it?
You can go to usertrust.com, and then you can register for free. Everything is free. We don't charge for it. Usertrust.com.
Okay, usertrust.com.
Uh-huh.
Millie, your firm, Comodo, is a leader in security products and other products. Could you tell us a little bit about what you're up to these days, what your firm's up to?
Sure. What we're trying to do is we're trying to change the way that the security industry works for a simple reason, because we're still talking about configure virus causing problems. We have to start removing this being a distraction from us utilizing internet and computers. So we've created Comodo Internet Security. Again, we give it away for free to anyone. So any small e-merchant, by all means, go ahead and get Comodo Internet Security. Use it. It's for free. And what that does, it prevents malware coming into your computers in the first place, unlike antivirus products, which lets it in and then tries to clean it.
So is that on Comodo.com?
It is in Comodo.com.
Okay.
You can go
Right.
Comodo Internet Security at Comodo.com. You'll be able to find it there.
Okay. Anything else on your mind for our listeners about social media?
Well, social media is a big area. You could invest a lot of money, but if you're smart about it, you can do it very effectively with no money. And that's what I recommend people do. Make sure to provide visible transparency. Transparency is key. Trust is the most important thing, and it can only be gained via transparency. Be transparent. Let people see how good you are by allowing them to provide feedback on you. Good, bad, ugly, it doesn't matter. One of the best testimonials you can have, a customer who complained about you, then you turn them around to be a thankful customer. That's one of the best testimonials you can have. That way people will know that you care about them and you deal with issues. So having a bad testimonial and then you responding to it and turning it around is the best thing you can do. So allow that to take place on your website. Like we do at Comodo in our forums. We do not delete anything. And we always go talk to our people and try to listen to them and solve their problems. And that garners trust, that gets you trust.
Well, again, for our listeners, Millie's firm is Comodo, and the site is Comodo.com. I'm going to spell that. That's C-O-M as in Mary, O-D as in David, O, Comodo.com. And Millie Abdulhayaglu, the CEO of Comodo, we want to thank you for your time today, sir.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
That's all the time we have for this week's e-commerce conversation. I hope you enjoyed it. Please tune in next week for another new episode.